Ackman made $143 million in 2025, and he beat the stock market by 3% that year. Instead of you going down the YouTube rabbit hole and finding fake investing gurus with no credentials, I've actually managed over $140 million. I'm an actual financial planner, and I've been doing this since 2010. I'm going to show you exactly what he is investing in, how to track his portfolio, and give you the pros and cons of doing so and whether it's worth you doing the same. So let's go ahead and break it down. We'll start off with what this investing tactic is. We'll do the cons, we'll do the pros, and then I'll show you a screen share of how to find out what he is investing in as well as other investors. The first thing is this tactic. This is known as coattail investing or mirror investing. And what you are doing is copying or at least spying on some of the best known investors out there. This is because of a requirement by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. If you are investing, or if you are a fund manager or an institutional investor, you have to disclose, if you are investing over $100 million, a Form 13F. And that Form 13F tells us what you are investing in. And that means that me and you get to look at that form and decide what we want to buy or sell based on what they're doing. Now here are the cons, and then we'll go to the pros. The first is these moves are not real time, meaning if they were to sell on a Monday or to buy something on a Monday, I might not know until the next quarter. So that is something you absolutely want to know about. There are some programs out there. eToro is one of those apps and programs that are out there that will do these things for you, and I guess they detect it and will help trade those things for you. The issue though is, do you actually want to copy all of those moves all the time? Because not all of these investors are perfect, and I'll talk about why you might not want to do those all the time here as well. The other piece is risk tolerance. If you're making $140 million, right, they can take a risk that you may not be able to stomach, which is why some auto trading apps or mirror trading apps, they may trade something and I might not be ready for it. So that's why I might not be so high on the recommendation list for those. So you do want to pay attention to that. Then the other piece is you don't want to mirror every single investor out there. A Warren Buffett has a very good track record. A Bill Ackman has had a good track record, especially last year. A Cathie Wood has a good track record in certain years, but not every investor that has to file a 13F is great all the time. We see this with Congress people as well. I've done a whole video on what Congress people are trading, like Nancy Pelosi and her husband. They've done quite well. Okay, so it might make sense to see what they are doing. But others, right, are not so great. So you have to be careful about who you are watching and what they are investing in, so on and so forth. And then the pros. If you are following someone like a Bill Ackman or a Cathie Wood, the good piece is you can get their investments, or at least the vast majority of them, without the fees. Because especially for an ARK fund, which is the one that Cathie Wood runs, I can get those stocks and not pay the management fee. I'm all for saving money. So that's the advantage there. If you're running a hedge fund or you want hedge fund level performance, beating the stock market by 3%, and I don't need to pay the fee to somebody like that, that is a great advantage. The other good part is they do this all day and they get paid tens of millions of dollars, and you should know more than the average person. You are literally getting paid, again, 9 figures to invest. So by investing in what they are investing in, you would hope that you would get better results than you just kind of going out there on your own. So those are the pros and cons. Let's go into the screen share to show you what it looks like, what websites to go to. All right, one of the easiest websites to go to is Guru Focus. I'm gonna go right here, Guru Portfolio. And there are a list of a bunch of people here. Warren Buffett is still here. David Tepper is pretty good. Carl Icahn is famous as well. And it's going to tell you exactly what's going on here. 15 billion, what he has. You can learn more about his funds. And I can see here, get this out of the way. I can see here what he currently owns. And I can see, the value, the shares, and then what's changing, right? So how much he has, this is brand new. So he just added, or at least the time of this was updated, he just added Meta. Looks like he might have sold this. And let's see, I can scroll across and see the changes. So this is important too. So you can see here, this is updated as of December 31st, 2025. All right, and I'm doing this in April 2026. So this is old, right? So this is something I want to come back and check and see when does this get updated? That's something I can come and find out, right? Or I can go and Google the latest 13F filing and see. I can come down here and see S&P 500 returns year by year. You see last year he beat it. The next year, not so much, right? So not every year is going to be perfect, but you can see his long-term returns, 5 years, right? Things have been pretty good. 2019, right? So those are things that you can pay attention to. You can see another visual of what's going on here. So this is one way that you can see. I would say this is the easiest and most visual if you're into that. And this is how I like to, these pop-ups are really annoying. This is one way to see what's going on. One thing I didn't mention that you did see in the screen recording is the fact of the cumulative returns. When they are holding funds, they can have a much longer holding period than you may be aware of by the time that you could be looking at it. So for example, you may be looking at it and deciding you want to buy today, but they could have been holding it for 10 or 15 years. They could have been holding it for longer than you've been alive. That was the case for Warren Buffett. He made a ton of money on something like Coca-Cola, and he had been holding it for longer than I had been alive. It made me no money. But it was beneficial to him because he bought it well over 30 years ago. You do absolutely want to pay attention to that, and it is helpful on that website. And you can go to sites like Yahoo Finance and see what the 6-month return or the 1-year return is, which is two metrics that I prefer to use. Now, why did I choose Bill Ackman versus some of the others? There are several out there, and maybe there are others that are better. He's just the most famous. That's why I chose him. Warren Buffett is no longer the head of Berkshire Hathaway. He retired, but feel free to use who you want. I will warn you though, you don't want to follow everybody and bring in too many sources at the same time. Stick with 1 or 2, use it just as a guide, as a check, and it's just something to pay attention to. But again, do pay attention to the risks that we brought in earlier at the top of the video and whether or not it makes sense for you to invest, because their risk tolerance and what they are trying to do might be different than what you are trying to do and when you are trying to do it for your portfolio. If you want to learn more about the stock market and everything in between, then these are the videos that you want to watch next.